uh, so it's amazing to watch the vision come to life. And thank you guys all for having me. Thank you. What an amazing community. I am part of the community as well. So I'm a little on the silent part. But I'm very much in the community in spirit, and I'm here. So thank you, Akin, for having me. It's such an honor, such a privilege to be here. And thank you for all those accolades. It's not like that. It's not like that, actually. But I'm always so humbled with the opportunity, whenever I have the opportunity to share and to talk from my own personal experience. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Um, Please, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. Feel free to jump in, ask questions, stop me. Let's make this very interactive. My goal here is to be as authentic and truthful as possible to give you guys what has worked for me in my journey so far. But it's been a long journey, but it's been an amazing journey.
And what I'm going to do is, as Unoma presents, I will be moderating, picking your questions, and throwing it out there. So please throw your questions, and I'll be doing that at the back end. Over to you back, Unoma. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Aki, thank you so much for taking time to honor the lives of those that we've lost today. Just really the kids that were gone, 14 people gone in our great state of Texas. So we honor their lives. In my family as well, we have a missing person. So keep my family in your prayers, please. So without much ado, I usually want to start with a joke. I usually want to start with something funny so that we can laugh and loosen up. But honestly, since the Will Smith and the Chris Rock saga happened, I'm usually a little bit more careful now with the jokes. So, but all jokes aside, it's always an honor for me to be here, just to talk a little bit about my own story. I want to tell you guys a little bit of my story and how I got here, and then share some nuggets of wisdom and tenacity, the kind of tenacity, but also the kinds of skills and the things that have helped me, the platforms that have helped me, and how I have been. I've got to where I am, and not to say that I'm this poster child. It's just to say so far God has been good. So that's kind of my goal today. So I remember when I was a kid, I was that child that used to daydream a lot. I grew up in a small village, and so I spent a lot of time with myself. I spent a lot of time reading books, but I remember spending a lot of time just daydreaming. And when I mean daydreaming, I mean, I will close my eyes and visualize myself doing this or doing that in fancy places and so on and so forth. Come to realize that is one of the key things that we as people, or as people who want to build something, that is one of the key things that we should strive to do, which is just how do you envision what your future would look like? How often are you able to step away from everything, close your eyes, and envision how it would be like? So I grew up in a small town in Nigeria. I grew up in the University of Nsukka, Nigeria. My dad was a professor, and I grew up. He told me that education was everything. Education is the great equalizer. And then I went to a federal school, all girls school, boarding school. And in boarding school, I didn't know that I was female. I just knew I liked math. I liked all the subjects. I knew what I wanted to do. So that was the beginning of my story. And then I went to University of Lagos. And that's actually the very first time it hit me that, that I'm female. And I was in an engineering class where we were outnumbered maybe 10 to 1 or 20 to 1, really, boys to girls. And I used to sit in front of the class and answer all these questions. And until a friend of mine approached me and sort of in not so many words told me that, some people are not happy that I'm this, smart aleck, I'm outspoken and all that. And they had some threats to hurt me. And so I started sitting at the back and I stopped answering. From that day, I stopped answering any questions. I was privileged and honored to have a scholarship to come to the US. So I came to the US to finish my master's and my PhD. And during that time is when I realized I was angry about what had happened. A couple of other things had happened, but I realized that I was angry. And sometimes people try to paint us as angry people, but anger is actually one of those things that I've realized is really, really helpful for you to understand what it is that really makes you tick, your passion. What are those things that make you angry or uncomfortable? What are the things that you can't stand? And for me, it was really the idea around women not being able to speak up and have a voice. And so that whole story led me to start a nonprofit called WOW Foundation, WAAW Foundation. And so that foundation works to empower African girls in technology. So it's really the beautiful blend of everything I love. So technology, women, and Africa. That's what I'm passionate about. And honestly, that's the thing that I have so much in common with Akin and with this group, right? So a lot of us are people of color. A lot of us are people from the diaspora, Africans from the diaspora. A lot of us are in technology. I'm very, very passionate about technology and the things that it can do and the power of technology. We haven't even started scratching the surface. And so I tell a lot of people, if you're afraid of technology, get over it. Like, tech is the future. All of us need to figure out how to get comfortable with technology. So the WOW Foundation is a nonprofit I started about 15, 16 years ago, actually. And we've been doing a ton of work promoting, trying to get more girls into technology. And then when I finished, I joined Texas Instruments. I finished my PhD. I moved to Dallas. I joined Texas Instruments. And when I started working, I immediately knew that this wasn't for me. Like, I had the entrepreneurial bug. I wanted to do something on my own. I really, really wanted to do something on my own. I had this passion. And so I started dabbling. And I dabbled a lot. In my lifetime, I've started about 7 businesses, 6 businesses that didn't do well. And the story of that is you've got to keep trying to figure out what it is that makes you tick, and being able to pivot quickly. Like, so that's the story that I usually like to tell, to let people know that a lot of people say, I don't know my passion. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure how to start or whatever. And my thing is, what is that one thing? Like, try it. If it doesn't work, then you will know what you don't want to do. So the last business I had that didn't do well was a furniture business. I started a furniture business. And then I quickly realized I don't want to be going house to house selling furniture. So selling is not the one thing I wanted to do. So at least it tells you what it is that you don't want to do. And so that's one of the key things that I really tell people about. Keep trying, try something, like, do something, put your hands in and start. And then even if it doesn't go well, you will at least learn something. And a good friend of mine used to say, it's better to do the wrong thing than to do nothing. So I want to go through a couple of the things that I have done that have helped me get to where I am, and just give you guys a step-by-step guide as to some of the tools or some of the things that have worked for me. And it says, is the WOW Foundation registered here, or is it in Nigeria, or in both? The WOW Foundation is registered. Dan, thank you for that question. WOW Foundation is registered in both. First of all, I registered it here in Texas, in the great state of Texas. And that's because we wanted to be able to raise money here in the US and provide tax deductions for anybody who donated to the nonprofit. But once we started working in Nigeria, then we registered in Nigeria. We are also registered in Rwanda and in South Africa. So the WOW Foundation has presence in 17 African countries across 34 different universities. So we have chapters in 34 universities in Africa. So I hope that answers your question, Dan. All right. So when I left my job in TI after a few years, and my goal was actually to start a technology company, and that has sort of happened. So I'm coming back to that. So Yemi Salau, what's the website? It's waawfoundation.org. Okay. All right. Mayowa, thank you for that. Please jump in and ask questions, please. So let me tell you guys how I started my my business, which is called Herbal Goodness. Please check us out on herbalgoodnessco.com. Herbal Goodness is the #1 manufacturer of superfood and super herb products in the form of teas and supplements and super greens. So our goal is to support healthy living for those people who want to use food as medicine rather than medicine as food. So that's who we are. So right about when I was thinking about how to start a company, I decided to start eating healthy. I started thinking about all the foods that we ate growing up in Nigeria. I started looking for pawpaw and guava and all those fancy things. And I'll go to the store, I won't find really what I was looking for. All the pawpaw didn't taste like the ones that we grew up on. And so I thought, oh, if somebody is looking for it, if I'm looking for it, maybe somebody is looking for it. So true story, I stayed up all night one day, put together a website, went to PowerPoint, created my first mock-up of a product, a 3D product, and I put it on the website. I knew a little bit about Google Ads at that point. So I created one Google ad. I funded it with $15. And I went to bed. I went to bed around 5 a.m. This was on a Friday. I woke up around 10 a.m. on Saturday and I had 5 orders for a virtual product that didn't exist, that I created on PowerPoint as a mock-up. So I learned a big lesson then. The big lesson I learned that I really want to share with you guys is 2 things. One is the power of putting your ideas out there before it has matured. A lot of us want to build complete systems. But if you are in technology, now you know a lot about the agile methodology, which is try not to put in all this time and energy and effort building this fantastic platform before you launch. If you can launch with your minimum viable product, go to market, because as crazy as it seems, there are people who are, I thought it was crazy and silly that somebody bought my product. And now I wish I had a picture of that. When I look at that product, that mock-up of something I created, I'm almost very ashamed. It is juvenile, to say the least. It's something I threw on PowerPoint. I use green. I use text editor to write, papaya leaf tea on it by Herbal Goodness. I mean, my herbal papaya, then the company was called Herbal Papaya. I did some text. I did how to do 3D mock-up or whatever, and I took a screenshot of it and I put it on a website and so please, can you mute yourself? Yeah, thank you, Eric. So my thing I really want to nail down is please, if you have an idea, get it out there. Without it, don't wait for it to be perfect. Don't spend a long time trying to refine your ideas. As you put it out there, the market will start giving you feedback. People will start giving you feedback. Test it out, try it out. If you have an idea for a technology company, figure out the minimum way you can put it together and start seeing whether you can even market that idea. a lot of us in this community also think that when you put your idea out there, that somebody will steal it. Please, I'm here to disabuse your mind. I've heard so many people who are like, I had a friend once who came and said, oh no, I want to share this idea with you, but you have to sign an NDA that you won't steal my idea. And I was like, oh my God, I wish you knew how many ideas I have in my head. Like there's so much to chase. And it's not even that easy to steal people's ideas. Like your idea comes with you, your personality, your background, your story, your this. So let's get away from the idea that people will steal our idea. That's why we're not. And then the other thing is that the sky is so big for all stars to shine. So my pastor used to say, every star can shine and we still have space. So the idea behind, which is exactly why I love, talking to Akin a lot, and, the whole idea behind Skillweed is that there is space for all of us to get on board. Guys, if there's one message I want to leave with us is, please, can we all elevate our game? Let's come into this space. We need more of us. We need to build critical mass in these spaces of entrepreneurship, of leadership, of technology innovation. We need more of us. So as we are moving on, we need to open the door for more of us to get in. So back to what I was saying. So the idea of testing out your idea, rapidly prototyping, rapidly getting your ideas out there, talk to people about your ideas, bring it to market as raw as it looks. And technology has made that easy for us. So we don't have to go off and build a whole new system. If you need so we were thinking of even building a system on our technology company, and I did a Google search with a content management system and with a few things. You can actually put out a lot there. So my first thing is try to build your ideas rapidly and get it out there and test it and see how it works. The other thing is I already mentioned this, which is how do you find what you want? So awesome. All right. So sorry about that. I thought somebody was talking. The question is, what's your biggest fear when starting something new for the first time? So I also want to talk to that a little bit, which is many of us, it's risk, right? But it's calculated risk, and you have to manage that risk. So a lot of times you have to look at your situation. Before I went out on my own to start my own business, part of what I did to help me manage that risk was to try and save some money. I tried to pay off my debt. I saved off 2 or 3 months of living expenses so that I thought, so that's how you can manage risk. It depends exactly on where you are to figure out how to manage your risk. But my biggest fear when I'm starting a business, I don't know that I'll have to think about that one. A lot of people think about failing, but I just don't have, for me, I don't have a fear of failing. A lot of times I think about what's the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is that I will lose everything. And then I say, because for me, I've been on the extreme end of not having anything. I've been on government assistance. I've collected WIC. I've been on all these things. So it doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me to think about, going to the bottom. So another thing I wanted to, so one of the things I wanted to say is rapidly prototype. It's also good that technology gives us the tools to try our ideas very quickly. So that's one of the things. Please get out, try your ideas quickly and see if it works. If it's not going to work, at least you will fail fast. So that's one of the things that I really say. The other one is expanding your network, especially for people in our community. So I've met people in our community. We go to the same church with the same people. We go to the same parties with the same people. We are not really asking questions or joining these networks where we can learn outside of our comfort zone. So it's very comfortable for us, maybe as Africans or as Nigerians, to stay together and to talk about Nigerian politics and all these things. And that is important. But I want to challenge us to think outside of our communities, where you go and you will feel like I'm the only person, I'm the only this, I'm the only that. You will be amazed at how quickly you learn something from these different communities or seeing something differently. So that's one of the other things that has really worked for me. I have found ways to put myself in a lot of communities, either by volunteering. I go in somewhere, I volunteer, I say, oh yeah, I can write the story, or oh yes, I can bring in popcorn, or I always want to volunteer and bring something to the table and then sit down quietly and learn. I've learned to sit down quietly and just be very comfortable in what I don't know. So I'm constantly looking for places where I can learn. I'm constantly challenging myself. If I'm the smartest person in this network, then I need to add more people to my network. So I did a lot of things that helped me was going out to conferences. For my herbal goodness business, the very first year, the very first thing I did was to go to trade shows. A lot of us don't know about the secret of a trade show. So if you're thinking of going to a business or expanding in an area, I think going to a trade show was my biggest single step that opened my eyes to so much and gave me so many ideas and connected me to so many resources. So my very first year of going to business, I don't even think I had really set up my website, or things had really even, I don't even think I had a physical product at that time. It was March. I registered for the trade show called Expo West. Expo West is the biggest trade show for natural products in the US. I paid the money. I think at that time it was $750 to attend the trade show. That is the single biggest investment I made for myself that helped to catapult me. So at that trade show, I was blown away. I did not realize that there was even anything like trade shows. Thousands and thousands of vendors, thousands and thousands of products, thousands and thousands of ideas. What was trending was there. Vendors, contract manufacturers, retailers, everybody who was anybody was there. And it was the best place to network and understand what is going on in the industry. So that is another key tool that catapulted me into doing what I'm doing. It gave me ideas. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, teas are trending. Oh, capsules. I met someone who taught me, oh, this is who you meet and who, this is somebody. I made so many connections. So what is my message in that? Let us get out of our comfort zone. If you can afford to go to a conference, if you can afford to go to a trade show, an event, make it a point of duty to get out of your comfort zone. I know that we are busy, but this sort of investment is the kind of thing that catapults growth for us, at least for me. Going to trade shows have paid for itself more than I can ever imagine. So that's one of the tools that I have used. The other tool that I have used is I always say, let's make space for us and we rather than me and I. A lot of times when we talk, we are not inclusive, right? We want to take the limelight. I did this, I came up with this fantastic idea. I learned from my advisor, my graduate student school advisor, the secret of letting people in and getting ideas from other people, but also working with people. So I think that developing people's skills is really, really important. This is also part of what I talk about in terms of going out and networking and being able to give things for free. I think that usually we're thinking, oh, if I sell this and all that, but think about what you can give away for free, whether it's information, whether it's knowledge, whether it's community. What about your contacts? Once you're talking to somebody, let your mind be think, how can I help improve this person's idea? What can I give this person? How do I help this person elevate their game? And this is something that has really, really helped me through my own. I try to get myself out. So whenever I meet with someone, how can I help this person do what they are doing better? What can I invest? And it's not often money, actually. And sometimes it's not even time. It's just somebody telling you, you say, have you thought about writing a book? One of my friends used to be a book editor. She published a book. I can connect you to her. So she would tell you how she wrote a book. Or what about, maybe you should, put this into a cooking class. You cook so well. Give people ideas. I meet a friend, she cooks so well. You can make money from this cooking so well. Maybe you should do a YouTube cooking channel and doing cooking lessons for children. Or your children speak Yoruba so well. Have you ever thought about putting 3 or 4 words of, translation and connecting to other people who want their children to speak? So figure out how to want to give more of yourself. How can you outgive the other person? Try to find out what can you give for free before you start requesting the universe to give you back. One of the best business books I've written is by this guy Hill. What's his name? These are all the books I love to read a lot. What's the name of this guy? The book I'm trying.
Napoleon Hill.
Which one?
Napoleon Hill.
Yes, Napoleon Hill. Yes. What's the name of his book again?
This one, Babylon.
Which one?
Think and Grow Rich.
Is it the Rich Dad Poor Dad?
That book. I love that book. I love that book. If you haven't read the book, please see if you can go find it and read it. I love the book. Let me tell you why I love the book. At the end of the book, it challenges you to write your vision statement. Write it in the present. And that ties into what I was talking about in terms of envisioning where you want to be. Force yourself to envision where you want to be. The name of the book is Think and Grow Rich. So what I really love about that book is he asks us to go write down, envision where you want to be, write it down, put a date on it, and then write down what you're willing to give the universe or to give to others in return for what you want to get. That's the part I really, really like, right? Many of us are thinking we're going to get this thing for free. So for me, when I wrote my own vision in terms of, by 2026, this is what I want to achieve. This is where I want to be, whether it's a financial goal, a mental goal, a family goal, and a goal for my nonprofit, how much impact I want to make. You write all those down. For me, the more important part is, in exchange for all these amazing things that will come into my life, what am I willing to give? What am I going to give back? Whether it's that I'm going to ensure that I'll give back, a percentage of the income that you're making, whether it's I'm willing to mentor at least 10 people or 20 people to start their own businesses, or whether it's I'm going to make sure that I mentor children without parents, or whatever it is that you're going to give back in exchange for whatever you're asking for, make sure you focus on that. That's the thing that is in your control. And that's why I really, really like that book, because a lot of business books talk about how you do this, how you get this, how you do that. But I've really come to realize that a lot of the secret of growth is in giving. How are you going to give more than you are expecting to receive? So that's also one of the things I really wanted to hone in here. How are we giving back to our communities? I really want to challenge us as a community to figure out how to invest in other people. So that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. My mantra in life is that when you light the candle for someone, it doesn't, yes, the audio version is better for busy folks. So I'm going to end with my mantra, which is lighting the candle of another doesn't diminish our own light. It only makes the room brighter. Guys, I think we need to get over the mindset that it's a zero-sum game, that for you to succeed, I lose, or that if I succeed, another person is losing. That's a zero-sum game, and that's a scarcity mentality. Actually, the more of us succeed, the more there is for all of us. And I really want to challenge us in this community, particularly, to understand how to lift one another up. If there's a skill that you see, wow, that skill is doing well, people are doing great in that, try and get more of us in it, which is exactly what Skillweed is doing. I love, love, love this platform. I love the vision of this community. Guys, we need to elevate our game. I'm always ever ready, always here to answer questions, to help, to shine a light. If I've written a grant, somebody was asking, oh, will you share your grant? Of course, I share my grants. I share my vision plan. I share my business plan. I'm willing to say exactly what I did and how I did it and what it got me. But honestly, the biggest thing is being willing to give before you get. That has been the secret for me. So I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna say, let's go out, let's pull each other up, and let's have fun doing it. And I'm happy to answer questions, specific questions, any kind of question.
So I think Unoma amazing, and hey, folks, I genuinely mean it. Everything Unoma has said, I have experienced it live. There's no time I share any insight with her. Before I started this platform, she was one of the people pushing me to start it, really. She pushed me so hard. She looked at me straight in the eyes and said, hey, you know, this can be full time. And really, at some point, her words make me scared, to be honest. I told her, sometimes she says some things and I just feel, oh my God. So I genuinely mean it. She's just, she's everything she said to us, she lives it. And I've seen her do it so many times, unconsciously, effortlessly. And please ask all the questions, everything you can think of. But I want to ask the question, Unoma, and see, I'm sure some people are thinking about it too. And the first thing I thought to ask you was, I know you mentioned, you know, when somebody asks, how do you undo? Let me ask, how do you undo reject? So you're making an effort towards a particular goal and you need people to help and you keep getting no, 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 no. In those kind of situations, what's your coping mechanism to undo rejects?
So that's a really good question. That's a good question. And I think that the more rejects you get, the very soon you grow thick skin to reject. You're like, hey, you know, somebody is going to say yes. So my approach to things is, one, stay persistent. Because somebody said no doesn't mean no forever. You know, stay persistent, and persistence pays off. The other thing is go back and refine. Take no as feedback, right? Take no as feedback. For me, a lot of what I do, people say, who are your mentors? I have a lot of mentors, but a lot of my mentors are these things that you see behind a lot of books. You know, get a little bit more education. Why did they say no? Is it the packaging? Is it the product? Is it because I didn't communicate my idea properly? Is it because it's not the right time for them? Is it because they have seen me in a different light and I need to refine myself, how I present myself? So I always take feedback well. You have to learn to take feedback well. Honestly, I don't believe that this universe is out to get us. And let me just say this here. I know we're in this community. A lot of us think that there are people from our village chasing us to come and do something bad against us. I just don't believe that. I actually believe that people are out to do me good, that the universe has so much good for me. I believe genuinely that I don't think anybody is against me. I don't have any enemies. I just don't think I have any enemies, anybody chasing me. And I think that that mindset makes me be able to take feedback, rejects well. It's not personal. It's really not personal. Nobody's chasing you from your village. That's the way I take it. So I go back, I refine my ideas, and then I keep pushing.
Thank you very much. Another question is, in terms of the fundamental step, there's somebody on this call today that says, and I've seen a lot of people text me that, they are learning so much. They want to get your number, they want to get email and all that stuff. I said, well, I can't give you a number, but I can give you an email. We'll figure that out, whatever you want. But in terms of people that are saying, you know what, I want to start, I have this ideation idea, I want to start. What would you say to that person that's not going to be able to sleep tonight and is just caught up and say, okay, I think I have that, I believe I can do it. What would you say to them that want to start tonight?
Fantastic. If you want to start tonight, please go stay back and talk to me. Let me give you a few more pointers that will get you started. If you're not able to sleep because you want to start something, let me tell you, it's time. Stop delaying. If you are not able to sleep and you're at the point where you're asking, please, how can I start? Then you are an action person. And the universe actually benefits people who are action oriented. So kudos to you. 2 or 3 questions I will ask you, and I think you need to sit down with somebody who can ask you some of these things. And that's where mentors and role models play a role. One thing I will ask you is, do you know somebody who has started anything near or related what you've done? Can you figure out how to find 1 hour to take them to lunch? And when you take them to lunch, just sit down and tell them, bros, sis, whoever, please, I don't know anything. Tell me how to do this thing. Share your own ideas or what should be my next step. So find somebody that you can invite to lunch, take them to lunch for an hour and a half, sit down and have that conversation with them. If you want to start a business, generally, there are 2 types of businesses. One is it a product business or is it an ideas or values? Is it a product, is it services, or is it ideas? You have to differentiate between those 2 because the way to start that business is different. So if you want to tell me you're a doctor, if you want to start a service business, for example, and you are a nurse and you're telling me I want to start a plumbing business, then I'll tell you there's a different path to go, right? Because this is services. If you want to start a product business, which is what I've started in the past, what I will tell you is that, wow, there is so much opportunity in that space, so much. And for me, where I started, first of all, was to go looking on Alibaba or AliExpress.com, trying to find products that people are looking at Amazon. There are tools around Amazon that will tell you who is selling what products are most profitable or most in demand, and then finding contract manufacturers who will manufacture that product in your brand or in your name, and going out and doing that. If you want to start a services business, maybe it's in technology or IT or whatever, then the question is, how much skill do you have? How many people can you partner with? But that's the first question I will ask you. A lot of people say, I don't have the funds to start a business. For me, it's not a money problem, it's an ideas problem. If you have ideas, money chase after you. That's my thing. So a lot of people say, oh, I don't have an idea to build somebody said, oh, I want to start a nursery or a school. I want to build a school and I need this, so and so million. And I said, how many children have you hosted in your home? Like, start in your little home after school and start doing free after school services for kids and see how many people will come and see how good you are with it and whether you actually even love it. So my thing is get started with your idea. Find somebody who can give you your next step and figure out if you're in the services business, if you're in the products business, or if you are in the tech type of space. You'll have to figure that one out. But if you want to start, you can't sleep, please stay back and talk to me and I can get some more ideas going for you. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you very much. Any additional question, guys? Go ahead and post it. Somebody said, can I learn grant writing by volunteering with your nonprofit in that area? The nonprofit side of things, I'll probably bring Unoma later sometime if she indulges us to talk about. And if she wants to talk a little bit about it, that would be fine. I know it's because if you don't have the vision to start a nonprofit, I know it comes with its challenges. Unoma, do you want to talk about some challenges in that space?
I think that running a nonprofit is all about passion. If you really, really believe in what you want to do, then you find a way. When we started our nonprofit, honestly, my husband and I, we were graduate students, and our goal was to help one girl. It wasn't even to help one girl every year, it was just to help one girl. And we put out an application. We could only sponsor $500 scholarship for that 1 year. After we scraped all our savings and everything, we put out an application and 400 people applied. And as I was reading each of those, I was crying because we couldn't, the need was so great. The impact that we could make was so little. With just so little, we could help so many people. So when I talk about nonprofit, that's my passion. That's what makes me tick. There are so many challenges. The only way to keep nonprofit alive is if you really are passionate about what you're doing. Nonprofit is one of the organizations that die the fastest. Every time I talk, 10 or 12 people come up to me, I want to start a nonprofit. And I say, sure. And I send them the documents and I tell them how to start. Most of the time, 12 out of 12 people are no longer doing their nonprofit 3 or 4 years down the line. For me, I think it's a calling. I think it's a passion. Nonprofit is not, you really, really have to think about, is this what I have been called to do? But if it is, then it's a beautiful, there are so many challenges. From convincing people to serve on your board, to volunteer without money, to writing grants and getting no after no after no. And just, doing free work. Nonprofit is like, I'm doing this work, I'm helping people. And even sometimes the people you're helping don't appreciate it. So you really have to think about why you are going into your nonprofit. So having said that, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm just saying, please, if you want to do nonprofit, would love to talk to you about how to do it, and how to stay sustainable, and how to get help. Because a lot of people also burn out because they're doing everything themselves. And after a while, they get tired.
Excellent. One more question I thought a lot of people would like to know. So for somebody just starting, and so that they don't overwork themselves and burn out, what are some options to kind of be efficient in terms of sourcing for contractors, for help? What would you advise someone that is just starting up?
Oh, Aki, that's such a good question. And I know you and I have talked about this. And one of the things that has helped me a lot is working with virtual assistants. And all my virtual assistants are actually in the great continent of Africa, where you can get phenomenal talent at very, very affordable. And so when people say, how are you doing nonprofit and running a full-time business and getting a technology business off the ground, it's because I get a lot of help. And a lot of that help is virtual assistants. And when I learned the secret of virtual assistants the first year I got into business, 2011. That's the first time I got a virtual assistant. And I've never looked back. They are worth it. Whatever they ask you to pay, sometimes, it's even as cheap as $200 a month, $300 a month. And somebody is working full time on your behalf. It is worth it. And for those of us who are in diaspora, we are helping to create jobs for people who are back home. And in these days of technology, where somebody with a laptop can connect to pretty much systems on the cloud, whether it's to help you clean up your junk, spam folder, or to help you order baby formula, or even to help you find a product, or to put a presentation together, or to write a draft for a grant, or to go look for grants that you can apply for, whatever it is, if you can outsource it and create jobs, that is phenomenal for me. So don't try to do everything yourself. One of my secrets is right now I have 3 virtual assistants and I am very pleased with them. They do a phenomenal job. And all my virtual assistants are in Nigeria, my home country. So I'm excited that I can create employment for people who are very, very, very talented. And I hope that more of us can do those types of things.
Thank you, Unoma. Unoma, another question is, I know in the past you have a tech team that you built in Africa, and they're amazingly talented. One of their projects I got to know was they created a version of Zoom that had no limitation. So instead of the standard Zoom that has 100 limitation, except its enterprise one, it goes as far as I believe it's 500 or 5,000, I don't remember, but it's amazing. So, can you shed more light into, the technology team you built in Africa? And if we want to leverage such skills or people, what are the options out there?
Akin, thank you so much for highlighting that. So let me say a little bit more about the nonprofit work I did and how that dovetailed into helping to build technology team. So my own background is in technology. I worked as a software developer. I since haven't worked there. But our nonprofit WOW Foundation, the focus is really to train young Africans in science and technology and coding, software development. So one of the programs we run is called She Hacks Africa. It's a software boot camp where we bring a couple of young students, boys, girls, into the camp. We pay them for 4 months. We house them, we pay them, and we teach them cutting edge software development, whether it's front end, back end. Now we're doing Flutter and Wave. For those of you who know technology, I've even been telling Aki, maybe we'll start training some people in cybersecurity and stuff like that. But the goal is after we train them, we place them in jobs, whether it's locally or internationally, so that they too can earn a good income. So this is the background. We've been doing She Hacks Africa for about 5 years now. And I am very, very excited and privileged because that community allows me to see young people doing phenomenal things. And so even us as a nonprofit WOW Foundation, we go ahead and we hire some of them. We have ideas for projects. I have people who reach out to me all the time from projects like, oh, no, I want to build my own website. I started this business, I want to build a website, or I want a virtual assistant. We even have virtual assistants, or I'm looking for a developer to help me build an app or whatever. We're able to outsource those teams to do those things. And we also are building apps for ourselves. We're building commercial apps. We're building a school management system for schools in Nigeria, for example. We're building a church management system to help churches manage their resources and things like that. But these phenomenal young students and kids, it is so beautiful to see them sit down and create. We have an office in Abuja, by the way. And just like Aki was saying, recently our team sat down and they themselves conceptualized this idea of, we're always hitting the limit of Zoom. We're going to build a platform that is similar to Zoom. And within 3 or 4 weeks, these guys had built an amazing thing. The moral of the story is, guys, there's talent everywhere. Opportunity is limited, but talent is global. Especially there's a lot of phenomenal talent in Africa that I am part of. Technology, software development talent from young people. Our goal is to figure out how do we use them to either start their own technology companies or plug into real jobs where we can help them to grow economically and really grow the economy of our countries. So that's something I'm very, very passionate about. So Aki, thank you. Aki, thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you so much. I know we have 4 more minutes. Let's take one more question. And guys, I'm just excited, really, and really thankful. Let's take one more question, and we would wrap it up today. Somebody said, I have a program trying to build an app for. Are you to help with that? All right, so we can set up a follow-up and see what are the things and one of the things I'm thinking, no matter to put you on the spotlight, maybe sometime in the future, we could have like a mini ideation session where people throw ideas and we can give feedback. And, if you probably set up a few other entrepreneurs, if the ideas, we can support some initiative, or, we can talk through that at some point.
Yes.
Because a lot of people have so much ideas, they just don't know how to execute or what to do. But we can give ideas or suggestions for sure.
Yes, yes. Okay, that's a really good, so many questions. Please, I'm happy to come back and answer some of these questions. Aki, feel free to share my email also, I can. There was a question, somebody said, I have a product, no, not that one. There's one I just really wanted to address real quick, but it has zoomed up. Thanks for sharing. Virtual assistants. So virtual assistants is one of those things that, again, I mentioned that the WOW Foundation, we train people to be virtual assistants. So you can reach out to us and we'll hook you up with a virtual assistant if you're looking for somebody from Africa. My first couple of virtual assistants, I found them on Upwork, which used to be Elance then. I've also used Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com to find virtual assistants. But these days they are everywhere. If you post on LinkedIn, if you put a post, I'm looking for a virtual assistant, I'm so sure somebody will connect you. For me in particular, I've tried virtual assistants from all across the world. And I can tell you, I've had the best experience with hiring virtual assistants from Nigeria, from Kenya. I've also tried the Philippines. They have been very good. But yes, you can find virtual assistants on Upwork very easily. Yeah, so I can help guide people who want to do that. I've been doing it for more than 10 years. So it's a great...
Unoma, I can tell there's so much demand for you to come back. So please indulge us. We'll find some time to sneak you back in.
Sure.
And
One thing I wanted to mention, you were talking about bringing ideas and brainstorming and ideating around it. One of those things that really helped me around ideation, I took a class called design thinking. I actually went to a great business school and took a course called design thinking. And that design thinking helps you to really, in one sitting, in 1 hour, take your idea from ideate, right? If I have an idea about this product, rapidly prototype that product, whatever it looks like. And we teach this in that's one of the things that makes our She Hacks Africa bootcamp unique. We come in and we do rapid prototyping and design thinking so that you get out of the idea that this thing is too difficult. So we can sit down for an hour and do design thinking on your idea. And you come out with a product and you go out and you test that product on people. I wish I could say more on design thinking. There's a lot around design thinking that is fascinating.
one more question, Unoma. So if somebody wants to volunteer within WOW Foundation, if there are projects you're working on, and a lot of people are willing to volunteer and be part of something bigger than them, do you have volunteer opportunities, and how can we share those? Stuff like that. Well, how do we?
Yes, I can I'll send you a flyer. We're actually recruiting volunteers and mentors. We are recruiting all the time. So we have a couple of volunteer opportunities. Obviously, there are some that are located on the continent, which if we're running a program, if you can come in and facilitate, talk to students, either talk through a program or something, that's there. But the biggest need we actually have is mentoring. So like I told you guys, we are in 17 countries across 34 universities. One of the programs that we run is called College to Secondary Mentoring Program, where we go into a university, we start a WOW chapter, we train them, we equip them, we give them what we call STEM in a backpack. And then they start going to secondary schools around their community to try and tell people about STEM. those girls need a lot of mentoring. And mentoring, what I've learned about mentoring is that you're never too small to mentor. Like what you think you're too small is what somebody needs for their next step. So even sitting down with a girl and saying, hey, this book I read, try and read it, that's mentoring. Even listening to them, sometimes I sat down with my mentees and all they tell me is how school was, either they're bored, school has been out for 5 months or 6 months and they're looking for a job. And I say, hey, do you know you can volunteer as a virtual assistant, or you can, even that is mentoring. So we're constantly looking for mentoring. We have over 1,500 girls who are unpaired right now. They are looking for a mentor, somebody to meet with them once a quarter, to give them your WhatsApp number and tell them if you have any problems, please reach out to me. I'll answer your professional problems. I want to say, take ICANN, take SAT, whatever it is, this is mentoring. So I very much would love to share that flyer so that anybody who wants to mentor can apply.
Thank you so much, Unoma. I mean, hey guys, thank you so much. It's part of our tradition to make sure we stick to time. I'm going to unmute everybody and we just give a round of applause to Unoma and just appreciate her. Can we all unmute, please, and just give us some love?
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much,
thank you.
Mama. Really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. That was just great information.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful
Thank you so much.
presentation. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you again on this platform. Thank
Thank
you. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank
That
you
was
so
awesome.
much.
Thank you
All
for
right.
sharing so much.
With that, we say thank you, everybody. Best week
Thank
ever.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
God bless you too for
Bye.
the good job.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.